Hello YouTube, how is everyone doing? It's Professional here. Today I have another top 5 video for you guys, and this one is a fan requested top 5. So if you ever have a top 5 you want me to make, just let me know down below. Anyways, today's top 5 is the top 5 most disappointing vehicles. These are my opinion on specific vehicles that I thought were disappointing to a large group of players. Now, I'm not saying these vehicles are the worst and terrible, some have good abilities, but these vehicles were not what most people expected them to be. That's why they are disappointing. Now, enough of me talking, let's get it started. Starting off at number 5, we have the Volatile Plane. This plane came out with the Doomsday Heist and cost a regular price of $3,724,000, but you can get it for a trade price of $2,800,000 if you complete the Doomsday Heist Act 3. Now, why is this plane disappointing? When this plane was first revealed in the Doomsday Heist trailer, a lot thought that it would be effective. A lot of us thought that it would be an effective vehicle, especially when we saw it fly over Mount Chiliad doing a bombing run, which it does in Act 3's final setup. However, though, this plane, while it is faster than the Bombushka and it's easier to turn, it's very ineffective at bombing. I mean, you can see me bombing here, and it's so difficult. You would think for a large plane meant for bombing, it would be easier, but it isn't. And look, to be fair to the Volatile, yes, I understand it's a large plane, so it's not going to have a good turning radius like others. However, that is not what I'm disappointed with this plane. It's the lack of weapons that's disappointing for me. This plane has 2 guns, versus the Bombushka, which has 3. The guns on it are not explosive, which basically makes them useless. Sure, they have good range, but what's the point of guns like this if it just fires bullets, not explosive rounds? It makes it impossible to kill smaller targets on the ground, and in the air, sure, you could hit the target that you're aiming at if it's an air vehicle, but it wouldn't be as effective as explosive ammo. The Bombushka, it has explosive cannons, which are much better. The Bombushka can also potentially carry a vehicle as long as you don't upgrade it, but this can't carry anything extra. On the bright side, it does carry 100 bombs, more than any other plane in the game. However, this plane is a giant target, and it's even easier to hit than a Bombushka because of how wide it is. All it takes is just one RPG to hit you when you fly over someone, and you're done. This makes bombing players even more difficult, but the engine gets even worse. If it gets shot by NPCs or players, the engines will die pretty quickly on this thing. Here, I wasn't even able to finish Headhunter. I got to the last target and all the engines died, and the thing just crashed. It's also a pretty expensive plane. Make this plane more armored, decrease the price, add explosive guns, and it would not be on this list. At number 4, we have the Anti-Aircraft trailer, which came out with the gunrunning update. This trailer cost $1,862,000, or a trade price of $1,400,000 if you complete the MOC Anti-Air mission. Now this thing, it really disappointed me. I remember when it was first announced. Here, if you take a look at this photo, it's kind of misleading. This photo is from the gunrunning reveal on the newswire. This is when we first got our first batch of gunrunning information after the original post. This photo, it shows the SAM battery from the anti-air trailer shooting down a Hydra. This had a lot of people, including myself, excited. We thought from this photo that the SAM battery was going to be the counter to jets. And the reason it got us excited is because before gunrunning, jets were so overpowered. There was no real counter to taking them down. Jets would rule lobbies. All it took was one guy that knew how to fly a jet to grief an entire lobby. It was terrible. Today, jets aren't overpowered anymore. Not because of the anti-aircraft trailer, but because of explosive rounds. The anti-air trailer wasn't a counter to it at all. It did nothing against it. The anti-air trailer's best weapon is the flak cannon. This weapon is the most powerful gun in the game. It can take out an Avenger and an MOC in 2 shots, and it can destroy a fully armored insurgent in just 1 shot. However, this is only 1 gun on it, and the flak cannon is completely useless against jets because it has such a slow rate of fire, and jets, they're really fast. The other guns on it are the machine gun, and even if this is upgraded to be a quad gun, it's also useless, as it can be used in a half-track, which is a much better vehicle, and the half-track, it can withstand multiple RPGs. It's a pretty armored vehicle. The anti-air trailer only takes 1. And what about that SAM battery on it? It only has 30 missiles in total. They do have a good lock-on range and are very accurate missiles. They will hit what they're aiming at. They could shoot down Oppressor Mark IIs, but they are useless against jets. Even though you could shoot someone down if they fly right over you, it's very difficult to do so. All someone would need to do is just fly in circles, like my friend is here, and then boom, just 1 explosion, and you're dead after you run out of missiles. But despite all of that, that's not even the worst part of the AntiAir trailer. The worst part is the fact that even after you research and you purchase the 3 different AntiAir trailers, you have to pay to switch them each time. So if I want to use a flat cannon, I have to pay for it. And then I want to switch back to the SAM, well, I gotta pay for it again. It makes no sense. I never see people use this trailer. And also, another thing that got people really disappointed about this thing was the fact that in the trailer, we were shown the mission where a night shark was pushing this. We thought the default vehicle would be the night shark, but it's not. It's instead this pickup truck that easily gets blown up in one RPG. At number 3, we have the Luxor and the Swift Deluxe. These 2 vehicles came out with the Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1 update on June 10, 2015. Here's the Luxor Deluxe, which is $10 million, and there is also the helicopter, which is the Swift Deluxe, for $5 million. Both of these air vehicles are gold-plated and offer really nothing unique. Here you can see me inside the Luxor Deluxe while my friend flies it across the map. This plane has a champagne option and a cigar option. That's it. As for the helicopter, it has champagne and internet access, but the internet is useless as you can just use it on your phone. Why would you hit the D-pad for internet in the helicopter? It makes it seem like it's something special that you have internet in there when you can just always go on your phone. Maybe they could have put a TV in these vehicles. These vehicles were designed just to be there for bragging rights. Nothing more than that. For being a $10 million jet and a $5 million helicopter, they could have put in some extra features that could have possibly made it worthwhile. I mean, you can spawn a luxury helicopter where an AI can fly you across the map. Why can't these vehicles spawn with a free NPC that will fly you wherever you mark it? For helicopters, it could be the waypoint that you mark, and for the Luxor Deluxe, imagine that an NPC could fly you from one airport to another. Like, imagine you spawn the Luxor Deluxe, you go to LSIA, and there's an NPC pilot already in the plane, and he tells you, where do you want to go? And then you could just mark another airport. You can mark Fort Zancudo, you could mark Sandy Shores, you could mark Mackenzie Airfield, and that NPC would fly you across the map while you sit in the back of the plane here, and you're drinking champagne or you're smoking a cigar and you can look out the window. I think that would be at least a cool feature. You could always have a free pilot that would just fly you across the map. You wouldn't really have to do anything. But instead, you don't have that there. You just spawn it and it's there. And if you want someone to fly you across the map, you have to ask another player, which is kind of weird. You're going to be asking another player, hey, can you fly me across the map while I want to sit in the back here drinking champagne and smoking a cigar? It doesn't really make much sense. They could have put more things with these vehicles to make them more worthwhile. And also, some people aren't even going to purchase these vehicles because they're just going to get laughed at. Like, some people will laugh at people just for owning a vehicle like this because, you're spending $10 million on a gold-plated plane. Really? Number 2 is the Purchasable Laser. The Laser is actually one of the best aircraft in the game. But why did it make this list if it's one of the best aircraft in the game, you may ask? If you look, I listed it as Purchasable Laser, not Laser. The Laser you can always steal from Fort Zancudo, and it's a great jet for dogfighting and bombing ground targets. You can see how easily I completed Headhunter here. However, the Purchasable Laser is a different story, and this is one of the most frustrating things added to GTA Online. This was added as part of the drip feed for Smuggler's Run back in August of 2017. When it came out, it had no trade price, and it still has no trade price to this day. It cost $6,500,000, making it the most overpriced vehicle in the game besides the Deluxe aircrafts I showed before. It's a great jet, but it's not worth the $6.5 million. It's a giant ripoff. The reason it's disappointing is because when this vehicle was found in the drip feed, a lot of us thought, yes, we're going to be able to customize the Laser. I really hoped they would add a faster engine, new weapons, maybe droppable bombs, but it has none of that. It's the same generic jet that's in the military base. There is no difference. The only thing you can change is the paint color. The paint color. So you are basically wasting $6.5 million to change the color of a jet you can easily take from Fort Zancudo, especially if you have a hangar there. Before I reveal the number 1 most disappointing vehicle, I wanted to make a special mention, which is the APC SAM. The APC is a great vehicle, but I think the SAM launcher on it is what disappointed a lot of us. This is why it's a special mention and not fully on this list. The APC SAM, a lot of us assumed would be able to lock on and shoot down aircraft. We thought this would be the counter to jets. Unfortunately, it was not. While it can shoot down aircraft, the APC SAM cannot lock on. What is the point of a SAM launcher if it can't lock on the air vehicles? It's ironically more effective at destroying ground targets than air targets. And number 1, the most disappointing vehicle in this game is the Chernobyl. I was thinking, what vehicle did I have a lot of hope for that was a letdown when it came out? It was the Chernobyl. It's not an entirely terrible vehicle, as I made a review on this thing 1.5 years ago. It has great range, and it can fire an insane amount of missiles at its target that don't miss. But what made this vehicle so disappointing, what was it? It was the fact that when I saw this thing in the trailer for the Doomsday Heist, I had hoped for a good anti-air vehicle after the disaster that we had with the anti-aircraft trailer in gunrunning, and the fact that the APC SAM did not lock on. I was hoping this would replace them. This vehicle came out with the Doomsday Heist, and it cost $3,371,700, or you can get it for a trade price of $2,490,000 if you complete Act 3 of the Doomsday Heist. This thing costs more than the APC and much more than the anti-aircraft trailer, so does it do a better job at anti-air? No, it does not. This thing, while it can fire 5 missiles at once, and they are very accurate, don't get me wrong. However though, a good pilot, all they need to do is just fly in a circle with a jet and they dodge all of the missiles. If a jet flies right over you, they're the most vulnerable, but they could easily blow you up. But it gets even worse. It's not just the missiles that are disappointing, it's what you need to do to fire them that makes it really disappointing. You need to fully stop this vehicle and then hold right on the D-pad to hold it in place. You can't move it after this. Then, if you don't have a gunner, you need to get out of the driver's seat, you need to go around to the gunner's seat position, you need to get inside the turret, you need to lock onto your target, look at it, and fire. By the time you do all of that, you're going to be dead most of the time. The fact that you cannot use the launcher while moving is a huge disadvantage, as even the AA trailer, despite being so weak, lets you fire it while moving, but you do need a second person in both cases. But it gets even worse with the Chernobyl. When you do drive it, it has some of the worst handling in the game. I understand it's a large vehicle and everything, but its handling is so bad, and because of this, you're going to be hitting so many NPC cars, and when you smash into them, oftentimes they explode, damaging the vehicle. You can see here my Chernobyl blew up because I crashed into too many NPC cars, and I'm not even done there yet. The nail in the coffin on this thing is the Chernobyl armor test. On the right here is an RC car. On the left is a Cold War era anti-air missile launcher. Which one is going to take more RPGs? Let's start with the RC Bandito. It has already taken 2 RPGs. Can it survive a third one? Let's see right now. Firing it here. So the RC car takes 2 RPGs and blows up on the third one. What about the Cold War era missile launcher? Let's see right now. And it only takes 1 RPG. How does that make any sense? An RC car takes 3 RPGs, but a Cold War era missile launcher only takes 1? That makes no sense. This is pretty much a nail in the coffin on this thing and why this thing was so disappointing. But you know what? I still like the Chernobyl. Even though it was a disappointing vehicle, I like the look of it. I like the ability to fire so many missiles. I like the idea of an anti-air vehicle. But it's just so disappointing in its handling, in its armor, what you need to do to fire the missile launcher. But you know what? Rockstar could still make this vehicle better. You know, they need to buff the armor on this thing. They could definitely do it. They've buffed the armor on vehicles like the Savage in the past, so they could definitely buff the armor on this. Make it take a lot more RPGs. Also, upgrade the missiles. Make the missiles go even faster, so that if somebody's flying a jet and missiles are chasing them from the Chernobyl, they can't outrun them. They can't fly in a circle and dodge all the missiles. You know, that's kind of stupid. Make it so that jets can only dodge the missiles if they use countermeasures like flares or chaff, or if they fly behind an obstacle like a building and they dodge it there. That would make the Chernobyl much more useful, and you would see a lot more people using it then. But the way it is now, unfortunately, it's just really disappointing. It does have some uses, but I was really disappointed by this thing. I really expected a lot more from this thing when it was first releasing. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like. If you're new to my channel and enjoy my content, subscribe, and let me know if there's any other disappointing vehicles. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.